I'm sorry, I touched the button while changing my hand, but Donalda, she died at the end, and her Alexis was maybe a very beautiful man, but he let her live this terrible life for a long time, and Aurore l'Enfant Martyr was after that. And it was also based on a true story, and my grandmother was living not far from where Aurore was living in La Marotte. And that was in the years when it was not possible to stop family because the church wouldn't allow you to, and they would preferably take the child instead of the mother if one of the two had to be chosen. And at that time women were raising 15, 16. My grandmother was one of 9 or 11, I think, and there was something like 5 or 6 girls and 4 or 5 guys. And she raised her 3 children, and her children raised each one child. But all those women all around the world that still are told that they must not stop family, and that men are using this excuse to have sex and actually rape their wives for sexual pleasure. Don't they deserve an apology? Don't they deserve an apology? All these women that died, and all these men that use those excuses because those apologies should have been done a long time ago, at the same time as the women were allowed to vote. And actually, since it didn't happen in Quebec until 40-something, it means that, yes, okay, nationally we were supposed to and able to, but it didn't really happen in reality only years and years later. So, a law that would protect gays. Yeah, okay, we got the law. So what are you fighting about? That's what we're fighting about. But we're not at the gays. The gays have nothing. We do have things to claim and excuses and apologies to receive. But women, first, please. There should be a monument as big as the freaking world to represent what we have kept in silence for so many years. Another planet should be erected as a monument. And it wouldn't be enough. And how come right now, on the 24th of September 2017, it hasn't been even said or mentioned? It is a disgrace for humankind not to have recognized, and still not recognize, and use bureaucracy, politics and economics not to admit this disgrace for humankind, whether you're Greek, wherever you want to be coming from, the Arabics, anywhere in the world, women should be apologized to. Even in Dubai or wherever you want. Now, you all do whatever you want. I do ask for forgiveness. And I will do everything I can so that this is corrected within my capacity. And I'm only one. And I don't care. And I will try to reach as many women as possible. And once I will have supporters for women, I will start with blacks, and then gays, and then freedom of expression. Maybe not all in that order, because obviously there seems to be a priority conflict. But anyway, I will find what I have to do to have all these things taken care of. And right now I just thought of a system that I can do so that it can do all that. No matter which religion, no matter which language you speak, no matter which part of the world you are from, China, Asia, Africa, Australia, America, Europe, name it. What I want to do and what I can do right now, maybe I'm wrong and maybe you'll never see that video, but if you do see that video, it's because I succeeded. And right now, on the 24th of September 2017 at 8:30 p.m., I will go see you and I will say, you don't know why I'm saying thank you. And if I could right now, I would ask for your forgiveness, but I can't because it wouldn't make sense to you. But eventually I will. Or I will say something like that so that you remember the moment that I will have told you this. What could I tell you? I will tell you that because you gave me a good addiction, which is the pita from Beaumont, I will do something. I will do something to show my recognition. That is a code. It's not the reason why I'm doing this. But it's just so that you remember when you see this video what I had in mind when I told you this and what I will tell you now. And I will complete this video when I come back. And if I can, I will try to have this video on while I tell you so that you have it recorded. That would be even more fun. And it's for a good cause and I think that you will like it. And the reason why I choose you, because instead of my mother, is a personal reason that I will explain, which will be when I will take care of the nonsense of taking care of somebody who's not worthy of your efforts by his behavior and treatment towards you, and definitely no recognition and no respect at all. And whether it is your mother, your child, or whoever that you think, nobody in the world should not respect another one. There is absolutely no reason. Respect comes first for anything, everything that anybody should ever do. Respect. Respect means consideration, empathy. Empathy is meaning putting yourself into the place of the other person so that you don't do something that you wouldn't want to be done to yourself. That's the way I use empathy, but that it means this, to be able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes so that when you do something, you think about it before doing it. Now, if I do empathy, thinking of you receiving this video, is that I think that you will be surprised of receiving this. And when you will understand, and I know you will when I will tell you, even though your roots and everything that you were raised told you and probably tells you still that you should always take care of your mother, once you will hear what happened between me and my mother, you will understand why, unfortunately, I cannot at this moment do this with her. But I have to do it with somebody, and I will do it with you, and you were chosen just out of the blue. But still, the more I talk, the more it makes sense, and you will just represent women for me. You will not be all of them, of course. I'm using you, that's not nice, but I think it's for a good cause. And it will help me explain why I don't think that we should be taken for granted by our parents, and that nobody should take anybody for granted, and that you should never let anybody take you for granted. It doesn't mean that you don't let anybody know you. No, that's not the same thing. But somebody that will abuse you, knowing it or not, that's zero tolerance. Now, when this person finds out, if it was not conscious, if she or he doesn't apologize, he doesn't deserve your respect, he doesn't deserve your interest, he doesn't deserve anything from you. And the only way to get it back is to apologize. And so you understand that I expect my mother to apologize for what she did. And then I will give her my personal request for apologies from Womenkind. Because I would much prefer to ask for this to her and first, but it wouldn't make sense to her right now, and it wouldn't make sense to her right now, and she wouldn't understand, and she would probably make it just worse than it is right now as per her situation. And even though all that, many things, not all, because there are many things that I learned from many other women, especially the 4 ladies of heart that I had in my life, that I have only one left now, which is Nancy. But the other 3 don't want to talk to me anymore. But that's okay. And I deserve it. I deserve it. But, and I will, and both of them did show me that they didn't have any more interest in me anymore. And the 3rd one, actually the truth is I forget who she is, but I know that there was 4, and there's Nancy and there's another one, and oh yes, my diva, I let her be, and that's okay. But she did talk to me in the past when I was very present, and I didn't understand that she didn't have interest in me anymore, unfortunately. She does, but she doesn't have time for me, and she doesn't she didn't listen to me at all. And for me to pursue to have her as one of the important people in my life would be stupid until she is doing it willingly and consciously and because she wants to, instead of being in my heart, not knowing it, not caring about it, and just keeping on hurting me. So apart from the 4 heart ladies that I had in my life, and I still have Nancy, but although Nancy doesn't understand why I'm not really talking too much with her, it's because she had many opportunities to talk to me and she didn't. I know she was very busy with her children, and of course we come back to apologizing to women in general for taking care of the children when there's no man around, which is her case too, and they're not my children, they're my they will inherit from whatever I will have. I have 10 children that will inherit, separate whatever I make in my life when I die between these 10 children, which are the 3 children of France Richer and Denis Venancio, with Chloe, Laurence, and Sébastien. And then there's the 2 children of Nancy Aubert, which is Aiko and Gaël. And then there's the 2 children of Stéphane Lévesque, which are Nico and his brother. Anyway, and of course the child of Annie Lévesque, Jenny, and her child. And I don't know how much we are, but I think we're at around 10, and there's one more, which is the child of a lady lawyer that has the same family name as I do, that I met by pure coincidence. But because of what that woman did, which was totally in accordance with my values, my principles, and everything that I think as being a man or a woman, and because she has my last name, and I would like my last name to be carried on, and this is one way that I can do it, even though it will not be because of me. It will be because of the father of the lady lawyer, if she got her name from her father. And I'm kind of stealing my descendants through her and him and her father. It's a question of luck. It's a question of coincidence. But also, if she was not a person that I would have trust in, I wouldn't do it. But she was the first person after France Richer that I thought, if I ever had children, I would trust her to take care of my children. She's a strong woman, she's a sensed woman, she's an intelligent woman, she is fantastic. She probably has a husband, I don't know, and that's, it's not against him, for him, and unfortunately he has not much to say in my choosing, and whether he wants it or not, that's what's gonna happen, and it would be weird, sad, if he would forbid his child to benefit from my inheritance because I did that, and because of the reason why I do it, and because I haven't consulted him prior. But I will try, if I can, to get in touch with her, to tell her before I die, I hope, and explain it to her, and ask for her permission first, and then his permission, and eventually the child's permission. But if ever I don't have the time to do all this, or if ever they refuse and I decide to do it anyway, well, somebody somehow, somewhere will know why this child, this boy, which last name is Grenier, at his birth, and if he changes it, he changes it, and that's it. But that's why. Right now there's no conditions other than being one of those 10 children to have my inheritance, and I totally don't want to give all this to my mother if I die before she does, because she will not know what to do with it and will just mess the whole thing. Probably just sell it to get the money, and that's it. So until I have done my testament, this is my testament. There's no witness, but I'm filming myself with 2 cameras, and I'm gonna see you right after. And I'm totally sensed. I'm not dong-dong or whatever. I'm totally conscious of what I just said, and I could say it all like this within 40 minutes because it was all clear in my head, and it's been like this for quite a while. And I hope that this will be the way I will be able to think until I die, and I hope to die at around 100. Not that I want to die, but I want to live at least until 100. And that's why there's something special that's gonna start on November 23rd, 2017. There is something special that's gonna start on January 1st, 2018. There is something absolutely crazy that's gonna start on November 23rd, 2018. That should finish in 2068 if I died at the age of at 100 years, and if I make it until 6 at least in the morning, and if I was born at night, well, at least until at night, because there's always, I never knew, and my mother doesn't remember anymore if it was 6 at night or 6 in the morning that I was born, but she remembers that when she woke up from the cesarean, she looked at the clock and it was saying 6, but she didn't know if it was night or morning, and it took a long time for her to have me. But I was baptized on the 14th of December, 4 days after her birthday, the 10th of December 1944, and that was in the 14th of December 1968. And the birthday of her ex-boyfriend Ivan Levesque is on the 14th of December 1944. So I think I've given enough information to make this video impossible to copy, impossible to make in the future, impossible to have been made before now it is done, now that it is done. And what I can do is even go here somewhere where you will see, whoops, actually I have to change it to switch it, but I can't. So if this, I will just do this to have, where's the camera? The camera's there. So I hope that I see the date on the computer and what is written there, which is the patent file for intelligent bookmarks. So, and I just realized that I showed on the next screen the way that I'm gonna do it. And it's so easy, it's incredible. It's so easy. Yeah, it does take a little bit of work, but I figure that by next week I should be able to talk to my computer, him responding to me, and having a conversation with my computer, not having to talk, to input anything with my mouse or either with my keyboard, and he will already have started to learn what I want him to learn and ask to learn even more. And the evolution of this is in relation with the discovery I made with my table of pi, which is infinite based on the decimal, so the digits before the zero. So the decimal, I don't know how to say decimal in English, but the like a tenth of a second or a hundred. So the pi has no limit towards the future. So it is not necessarily eternal, but infinite. And there's a big difference between the two. And with what I discovered and what I can put in place, we're talking infinite for the way to use this, the way to apply this, what it can learn, where it can bring us, and that is not only to me, but to any human being on the planet, even those who don't know it. And I do think that what I discovered, in a way, is a way to use this and make it become so big. We're talking planet. We're talking big. And I intend to put in this a notion of respect, mandatory, even though it will be a privately owned organization and it will be privately owned by me. And I will always try to keep 51% or more of the shares and of the executive power until I die. And if this goes on beyond my death, I will have set my computer so that this premise is followed until it is shut down, and that humankind should always be protected, always, and that this machine should never lead to taking a decision that would possibly harm humankind, any human. And if it has to, the decision will have to be taken by a human. And if there's no human to take the decision, it will probably go by priority, and the priority would always be to try to save the most in the long run. So not necessarily the most at the moment, but in the long run. So if there's, for example, 100,000 people left on the planet, but only one is fertile, and none of them else know how to reproduce humankind, and that machine knows how to do it, this person will become the priority one. That's an example to give an idea of the philosophy. So it's not necessarily the amount of people, but to make sure that la pérennité, humankind, the species, can remain. and I will put some settings so that if decisions have to be taken to overrule the machine and so on, well, first of all, I was up to that example because I said if there's no human to take the decision. That means if they're all unconscious or something. But if there is one human that is conscious and considered to be, and he will have to prove his good intentions by explaining why he's doing what he's doing if the machine has doubts, and he will have to answer. Now, if he decides to turn off the machine, and by turning off the machine it means that he is probably putting in jeopardy the continuity of humankind, he will have to find a way, because otherwise the machine won't be turned down. If his goal is not to save humankind, sorry. So it has to be proven that it is to save humankind. That is the most important thing. And I'm going to the extremes of whatever could happen. And right now it is hard for me on the 24th of September 2017 to figure out what kind of event could ever happen. But I found a bit of information that could help me. And that means that if we only put plus on a line, the line will always be positive. And if we put one minus in the whole line of plus, everything turns out negative. So we always have to make sure that another minus is put, at least one, or as many as it takes, so that it comes back to plus. The positive line in the dimension of the reality, which is the first dimension shown by an x, a y, and a z as the three acts of a dimension, are always positive. And this is what we are looking at as a priority right now, so that all of these always can grow in the plus section. Now keep in mind that in the opposite dimension, the negative of the plus, they do need only minus. Now if you think that you might be able to do special things in the plus dimension if the negative occurs first, and that the negative is trying to help what's coming. That could be done through dreams or maybe other ways, I don't know, but I've experienced weird things lately, and I do think that our dreams are part of our reality, but it is like our subconscious. And what I have succeeded in doing is to access my subconscious or my unconscious and materialize it in my conscious, which is not magical. It's just that I remember it when I wake up, and it gives me tricks for what to do when I'm up, and I just do it. And then when I find the things on the computer or on Google that I need, I go bazooz, because I'm like, God, well, exactly, I don't know where it comes from, and it kind of scares me, but I've decided to use it and go along with this type of feelings or weird things that happen. And I did talk to my friend Gaetan about this, and he said, well, maybe you have premonition, and I was referring to two things that happened, but so many things happened where I kind of could see things before they did happen, and it kind of freaked me out. But anyway, that's maybe someday I will understand all this, and everybody will understand all this, and it will be fine. Right now, I have to keep it a secret, because if I go out loud telling you thank you and apologizing for women, and I tell you this, forget it. You're gonna go like, okay, you know what? Go get your cookies elsewhere, and you would be right. But if you ever get to see this video, it's because you can understand what I'm saying in here. And I think that people like Pierre Pelado and other people that were diagnosed bipolar are not. It is a condition that I think should be addressed as possible evolution instead of something to control and kill in a way, because I was given pills for 10 years, well, 25, 48, 20 years, 23 years. I was 20 years because I stopped 3 years ago and came back. But I was given pills for 20 years because they didn't know what to do with me, and I didn't know what to do with myself, and I didn't understand what was happening to me. Now I do understand all of this, and unfortunately I am not happy with the person that diagnosed me. I'm not happy at all, and I did manifest disagreement when she said that, and there was nothing I could do. And once she had written it, there was nothing I could do, and no doctor would have gone against her. So I was considered somebody who was rebellious against his disease and was not accepting it, which was not the case. It's just that I knew that it was not a disease, it was a condition, and it was not to quiet me down with pills to sleep 24/7 that we were taking care of the situation. Now, it got me through the years without going crazy, because right now I can live with what I am, who I am, and have the tools to face this and use it. But if the medical authority that stigmatized, well, diagnosed me with this would have been more open-minded instead of what she did, and all the people that followed, maybe what I'm doing right now would have been done 20 years ago. So in 1997. But anyway, I'll stop now because this is getting too long, and this video will probably go on with other videos that I will make, like just coming back or just going to say hi to you and maybe not mentioning anything. I don't know. I'll see. But I'm bringing the cell with me. So thank you, Nikki. Thank you, women. And even thank you, Mom. But until you understand that you were not nice to me, I will not tell you in front. I learned something that was saying, learn to give your absence to those who do not appreciate your presence. And I would add to this, those who don't deserve it. And if they show me any kind of indifference, they don't deserve my presence. They are actually telling me by indifference, by silence, by not standing up, that they don't want me there, they don't care if I'm there or not. If I want somebody to be here, I will call him and I will tell him to come here. If I want somebody to be here and I did something wrong to him, I will start by taking conscious of what I'm doing, what I did, and I know exactly what I will have to do, which will, first of all, say I'm sorry. And I've done a video in 3 languages to explain how to say I'm sorry and why you need to say I'm sorry, and I did some stuff. And once you've said you're sorry, you ask for forgiveness, and you can ask, do you know how I could fix it? And I have this idea, which would be this or this, to make it up to you. Does that sound appealing to you? Do you think it's going to make things right? And then the other person can say yes or no, or tell, or keep being indifferent. And you cannot force anybody to accept your apologies, and I am not forced to accept anybody's apologies. Anybody's. I can make mistakes, and I will probably will until I die. That's how you evolve. And if I do, I hope that I will have the humility to take conscious of it, become aware of it, listen to the people that might tell me if they have the right argument and the right way to do it, with respect. I'm open to everything, as long as it's done with respect. Respect to who I am, what I've become, what I understand, what I think, what I want. And if you can take all that into consideration, that means you're empathic to me. And if you are, you understand why I want those apologies and why I'm not gonna do or be nice to you until I have those. And I deserve it as much as anybody deserves it, from anybody who's been hurt, who hurt them. And a lot of people have hurt me lately. In the last 3 years, it's a record. It's a record on how many people hurt me in such a short period of time. I have hurt people, but it was by telling them that they should apologize to me, by telling them how they were hurting me, and nobody would listen. Nobody would listen. They would all find excuses to throw me off, to discredit me. Anything but to give me recognition. Except 1, 2, or 3 people, but and the amount of people that I've talked to with my network for guys, 10,000 men, fuck. 5,000 only that are active, but 5,000. All my friends, straight, gays, guys, girls, child, seniors, no matter what the color, no matter the nationality, no matter when I met them in my life. Apart from Gaetan, I don't know who else didn't disappoint me. Jean-Luc Godard did very nice things by just taking the time to answer one of my questionings, my reasonings. And Raymond Langevin also. Marie-Claude, she didn't say anything, she was busy, whatever. Nancy didn't say anything. Jacques Ailstock just threw me off. Jacques Guillot, I tried to talk to him and he didn't respond. France, I tried to talk to her very subtly through LinkedIn and she didn't do anything. Well, but I unblocked her. I unblocked her husband. I don't think I had blocked the 3 children, but anyway. But they all can do something to show me that they realize how sorry they are and give me the I apologize speech. And until I get it from the people I think I deserve it from, those people are not in my grace. And that's why I'm thinking of doing this channel, which will be called Disgrace. And I do not think that people will be named, but the ones that will have done things will have a way of knowing that I'm talking about them, but not necessarily the people that will see the videos. And with this, I'm thinking of using avatars that I know how to do, with direct translation in all the languages, and live, with me talking in the back and my machines answering me as characters. And I will be manipulating all the characters and having them say what I want them to say. So it will be like a movie live with reality show, and it will be incredible. That's a plan, one of the plans that I have, but I have several. I have so many, it's crazy. And I want to go get my cookies and it's 9 o'clock. So see you next time. And right now it is, I don't know if we can see if we go like this. Probably that this machine can, so go ahead and take it there. Good. Okay. Ciao.